Hello everybody, it's Andreas here from IBN Immigration Solutions. So today's video is really for all these employers out there. I often get asked from employers, hey Andreas, I want to employ this foreigner and he has a permanent residence. How can I check that this permanent residence is valid or is not fraudulently obtained, that is a real permanent residence, right? The same question obviously applies to a temporary residence permit. So I thought I'd do a quick update, maybe 2 or 3 minutes on exactly that topic. So how can employers really check what is a valid permanent residence and what is not? Okay, so I think we start with permanent residence and I come to the temporary residence. So for permanent residence, there's really 2 ways. The one, and that you can actually do easily yourself, all right? Every permanent residence has a VFS, that's the service provider where you apply, reference number on it. Okay, usually on a permanent residence certificate, that would be the number on the right-hand side on the top. And it usually reads some sort of number, and sometimes it says PRP for permanent residence application, etc. But it's a consecutive number. You can type this into the VFS website, and then you would see that, usually in my example, you would see outcome collected on. So at least you know that this permanent residence was on officially the VFS system. So that's already an indication that the permanent residence went through the normal channels and is correct. The other thing is obviously you ideally look at the original, and there's lots of security marks, watermarks, there's stamps. If you can't get the original, every applicant should have obtained 2 permanent residence certificates. One's in color and nicely printed with Home Affairs stamp. There should be a reference number, 2 reference numbers on the top, and also very important, a control number on the bottom and a barcode code here. But most applicants, or all applicants, get a second one used for the ID book application and has an additional stamp here on the second page. So that's another indication. So you look at the permanent residence certificate and you look for the obvious mistakes. And then that is not a quick fix, but that's definitely something one can do for maybe continuous background checks. On every permanent residence there is a permit number, it's called, okay, a permit number, and that would be on the top left. And that one you can actually email to Home Affairs, and you will find the email on the Home Affairs website. You can email it to Home Affairs and you can ask her, is this permanent residence correctly issued? Was it on the system? The sad part is that it sometimes takes weeks, months to get an answer, so that's a disadvantage. But that's something you can also do. What I have to warn you about is the following. So I just was approached by a corporate client of ours recently, and they regularly conduct background checks with one of the service companies who are out there, right? There are various service companies out there in South Africa. And they actually gave a report back claiming that a permanent residence certificate was fraudulently obtained. So my employer said, Andreas, how can this be? I mean, we know this person, it's a bit weird, and we don't understand this. And then I phoned the background screening company and I asked her, how do you obtain it? And they basically said, well, we're using a third party. And that's when my red flags went up and my warning bells went up. So clearly the information they obtained from the third party was wrong. Which was then subsequently, actually, when we queried it, was confirmed, and our client was issued with a new background check. So all I wanted to say is, as the employer, you cannot blindly rely on some of the information you might obtain through a third party because it might not correct. So you can do certain checks yourself, which I tried to explain in this video. And then my last section really would be for temporary residence, right? For temporary residence, you can actually also check if this temporary residence went through the VFS system. And you will find on every temporary residence, you will find a reference number. It's in the middle of the visa. It usually shows GDA or different other things with a long number. You can type this into VFS, and then the VFS system should again say something collected to this regard. If it says no records found, then that's probably something you want to investigate and could be a potential red flag. Could, doesn't have to be. There are sometimes human mistakes in updating the system, etc. But yeah, as a first indication, I think that would be good. So I hope you found this useful. Otherwise, just contact us if you have any further queries. Keep well. Bye-bye.